Hey, how's it going? Jean here with Luma University, and I just wanted to talk to you today about what is going on around me right now. So you'll see that I have a bunch of lights. You'll probably notice that they're all Westcott branded, and that's for some really good reasons. So I'm gonna talk through why this is. I wanna share with you a little bit about my heart and the future of this channel and why all this gear is around me. So let's go ahead and get started. So full transparency right off the bat, I am working with Westcott as an affiliate now. So they did help me with this gear, with the cost of it a bit, but I would have switched to Westcott either way. And I'm gonna explain to you why this is now, just so that we're on the same page and that you can understand the importance of this to me, because it is kind of a big deal. With that said, I wasn't initially trying to become a brand ambassador with Westcott. I was gonna switch anyway, but I ended up meeting some people that kind of took me down this path, and just one thing led to another, and now here I am working with them, but just know I was gonna make this switch anyway. So there are three main reasons why I'm making the switch, and I'm gonna go through them right now. The first one is financial. So for me, my previous strobes were 2 or 3 times more expensive than these ones. And so I was able to sell them and get all this gear and get more lights in my studio for more creative purposes and to be able to do more for you and to teach better. So for me, it was the financial reason. I had to really sit down, look at my finances and see how I can continue to expand, because my other strobes were just so expensive. And you know, right now things are a little bit rocky in the world. And so it was time for a change, and I knew that. And so I was looking into this well before I made the change and well before I was in touch with Westcott. So number one, financial. Number two, it's because these strobes are so much easier to recommend to you. And I've been in workshops where I was working with people and they would be asking, what are those lights that you're using? And I'd point them to a link on B&H and they'd be like, holy crap, these are so expensive. Why are they so expensive? And I just came to the realization that I didn't really have a good answer for them. And so for me, it became difficult for me to consciously recommend the strobes I was using because they were so expensive and did basically the same things. So I felt responsible on my end to actually use products that I recommend and love. And that's something I've always talked about. I never work with brands or recommend products that I genuinely don't want you to have. And even if I wasn't working with them, if I would still recommend them to you, that's the standard, that's the test that I use. If I didn't partner with the company, would I recommend them anyway? And I already was. I already was because of a lot of reasons. But another one is because they have a really strong customer support, which is not something you can say for other brands. And especially for the price of repairs of other brands, even if they back their product up, it doesn't make sense, because for that price of a repair, I could just buy a Westcott strobe altogether. And you can get, flash tubes for these for like $80. So it's really, really cost effective, and it's easy to recommend to pretty much 99% of the people that I am teaching lighting to. And so I need to be using a product that I back up, that I actually recommend, and that others can actually use and get value from. And that's another thing, is kind of a bonus point, even though it's not really part of my third point. It's that the company really backs people up. They're supportive of the photography community in a way that I've never seen before. Their company culture is so amazing. I've met some of the people that work there. In fact, I was building relationships with them way before I even realized I was building relationships with them, because they're just so genuine and kind and helpful. And I really want to kind of embody that as well. And that's the kind of group of people I want to be around, the people I want to teach, the people who I want to teach me, and all that good stuff. So it really made a lot of sense in that regard. So financial, recommending to you, their customer support, their company culture, just everything about them is something I believe in and I align with. And then number three, it's the features for the price. So obviously they're cost effective, that kind of ties into the financial thing, but they are really innovating in things that you can do with these strobes. They have a creative mask mode now, which is new for the 402s and the 800s. And that creative mask mode feature is unique to these, and no other brand is doing that. And especially for the money, it's ridiculous. Also, just the specifications of these strobes are really, really good, especially for the price. The flash duration is very competitive. The recycle time is actually best in class. The color temperature is daylight, which is a lot easier to teach, especially with mixed lighting conditions and stuff, than with other strobe brands that run a little bit cooler. The flash consistency, the output consistency is very, very good, especially considering the value of the price. And of course, the build quality itself is right up there with the brands that are 2 or 3 times more expensive. Now, something else, just to get a little bit nerdy with you about the actual fixtures, is these have an exposed head, which the previous brand that I was using did not. And this provides some really unique opportunities for lighting techniques that I can teach you, but also that I can use practically. I'm just going to show you real quickly, but having an exposed bulb like this instead of a flat fronted one where the fixture comes all the way up to here on the front of the strobe, this allows me to light everything in my scene 360 degrees besides directly behind the body of the strobe. And that's a really huge benefit for ambient light, ambient fill. It also helps me to fill out and show how to use certain modifiers properly. So like a parabolic reflector or a beauty dish works best with an exposed bulb head. And I couldn't do that with a previous model of lights without some finagling and stuff. And so for me, that makes a really big difference. Also, the flash tube here, you can see is kind of like this big, but if you turn it sideways, it becomes like a thinner profile. So the light that you actually put out from the side of this is really sharp. So it allows for opportunities for super sharp shadows that I couldn't get before and stuff like that. So on a technical standpoint, I'm also really excited about the switch because it makes a lot of sense for me as a teacher, it makes a lot of sense for you as a user, and it just gives that flexibility that I need. Also, you'll be familiar with the fact that I use a 3D software for a lot of my training called Set.a.light 3D, which is coming out with it, actually I think just came out with version 3 tomorrow as of recording this, so by the time you see this it'll already be out, link in the description. And it has exposed bulb strobes like this as well, which is more traditional. And so for educational purposes, this makes more sense. For practical purposes, this makes more sense. For value for money purposes, this makes way more sense. Like I said, I sold 4 of my old strobes and ended up with 6 new Westcott strobes and then some. I got modifiers and everything with it. Now, of course, like I mentioned, Westcott is helping me. They did financially help me with these products. I still bought them, but they gave me a discount, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. They're really there to help support people. But even if they weren't going to work with me, I was gonna switch anyway because I would still come out ahead. I would still be able to recommend the products to you that I actually use. And I feel like the disconnect between what I was using and what I was recommending is now healed. And I think that's a huge burden lifted from me for this channel. So moving forward, I'm gonna be using Westcott equipment. Westcott has brought me on as an affiliate, which is awesome. So if you want a discount on Westcott gear, you can go to the link in the description, click on the gear link, and you can actually sign up for my newsletter to get a discount code, which is exclusive for you guys from them. So I'm very grateful for that as well. And all in all, it's just a win-win. The financial stability for me made a lot of sense. The creative outcome of all this makes a lot of sense. The ability to recommend it to you with our customer support and everything else makes so much sense. And just the features for the price, again, it makes so much sense. So I got a lot of stuff I want to share with you. I have 4 FJ400s, I have 2 FJ800s, I have 2 ice lights, and I've got a load of modifiers that I got with all of this as I'm switching and transitioning to the Westcott brand. And I couldn't be more excited. So I'm really glad that you're here along for the journey. Again, if you need anything at all, shoot me a message, leave a comment down below, and subscribe, because moving forward, we're going to be using gear that you actually can use and buy, and that I can recommend and love and be creative and work together with. So I'm really excited, I'm really grateful, and that is why I've switched to Westcott. That's it, I will see you in the next one.